Today we're going to carry on with our tutorial from the Blend-a-Bility Improve Your Ink Blending Skills. The last tutorial we created this tag using some distress inks and blending tools, water, a heat gun, and we used a cotton cloth. Today we'll be using some cotton roll just to blot off the excess water. Okay, so for today we're going to take this tag one step further with the products we used from last week. Okay, so I'm going to set up my distress inks next to my glass media mat so that I have something to hook on, my third hand as it would, as I call it. I don't know what I'd do without it. Yeah, I work much faster this way. Okay, so you'll need a stencil, one or two. I'm going to be using two. You're going to place your stencil over your tag, because now we want to add a little bit of three-dimensional without having to add too much bulk. And we're going to work with our brown distress ink. Load up your distress ink and blend with ink on your blending tool, and we're just going to ink this onto the tag. Now don't make the full block, try and work at a diagonal. So you want to start on there and work your way, just make an imaginary line where you want to apply the ink. Don't make it square. So we're going to start in the corner and we're just going to twist the ink blending tool to apply the ink over the surface. See, that's where this third hand comes in handy. To use your press your ink pad up against your glass media mat. It also works on the self-healing mats. It'll push up against there as well. If you don't have a glass media mat and you've got your craft mat just over your cutting mat. Okay, so you can see I haven't followed a solid line. I've gone at more or less an angle. I'm also applying ink, extra ink, or another layer of ink to some areas of the tag and not to others, so that you get that dark and light effect. Okay, do you see? Very nice. Not a harsh line, but you can see that it's gone at an angle. We can add some of this. Here you can see my stencils are very well used. And the same thing, you will be wanting to, your natural movement will be to blend it, but it's a push and a twist, a push and a twist. That's where this little handle comes in very handy, because you can really rest your hand on that little lever and it helps to be able to get in. So again, I'm not going in the full thing. I'm using pieces of the stencil in a diagonal type of effect. I can't really see that it's come out over there, but we're going to put some more on. Load up your blending tool and squeeze through. Okay. So that in itself has created a really nice background without us, just with what you have from last week. And we're just going to add a little bit of extra stamping to this to give it a bit of a 3D effect without having to add too much to the tag, because often tags are used in your junk journals and you don't want the bulk. We will do some where there's some bulk added to it. So I'm going to use my stamping block and load up with some ink. Okay, I'm going to put it here on the white so that it's easier to see. You really want to get ink up your stamp nicely. You need to put pressure on the ink pad onto your stamp to be able to get ink onto the stamp. If you just dab, 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 you're not going to get it. And if you have a look, you can see there's a nice shine. I've got it nice and covered, maybe a little bit more over here. Okay. I'm going to take it right down to the bottom and slightly off the tag and apply some pressure. I'm really giving it a good press down. I'm not just going one tiny little stamp, but really give it some good pressure. I suggest you hold the tag and lift. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to put another little butterfly at the top there. We'll do this bottom one. Ink it up again. It's going to be easier for me to work this way. And I want the whole butterfly on. There we go. Hold the tag and lift. Okay. Quite happy with that one. Now we're going to grind it up a little bit. And I just use the cloth. I got no major. I like the way Tim Holtz cleans his stamps. It's just no soap, no nothing, just a wipe. Okay, the next one. Add stamp. Load up the stamp with the ink pad. See, I take my time. I make sure that I've got enough ink on my stamp. And I'm going to apply that one right against the edge over here. And lift. Nice, messy, grungy look. Okay, and then I want to add a few of these splats and splots is what I call them. Right. I'll add some ink. This one I'm not going to use on my block. I'm just going to use it to add a little bit of spots here and there. And I might need to add a little bit more ink. Very good. Yeah, I think I want some spots over here. It looks to me like we need a few over there. Okay. And maybe one over here. There we go. We'll close up the ink pad. Give this a wipe. And we're done. These I'll just run under some water just to get that distress ink off of that. Get those out of the way. Right, so there in itself we've created a nice little tag with just by stamping and using a stencil. We could take this a little bit further and make a few tickets to add to it. I stamped these out earlier. These are using the stamps, the ticket booth stamps. These ones, they are really, really awesome, and they come with the nice dies, thin lid dies. We'll be using this one here. Okay. I just want to show you how easy it is to get the Sizzix out. I have my brand new little toy, my little Sizzix. Okay, and we'll put down my cutting mats, as you can see, have been very well used. Okay, we'll line up the little tag at the top, make sure nothing moves, inside it goes, a bit of a whirl. love that I don't have to get up. This thing's just right around the corner. It fits on my table. Get the cutting mats out and we can press this out and look at that. Isn't that just awesome? Okay. So how do we use these? We can add, I know this is a bit much, so we can add this here and put a little ticket here, and there we go. We can then bring in a little bit of washi tape up in the corners just to balance it out a little bit. So what we'll do is, this area is red, so yellow, so you're not going to put yellow on top of yellow. Well, you could. I don't think you'll see it very well. So we're just going to ink up these tags. I like to put on a layer of ink first. Okay, we can get this mat cleaned up. So I've got that layer of ink on. I'll then push some ink onto this mat, mist it up, and then put my tag through it. And to give me that. Let me just get this one. We'll give it a dry. See, I haven't taken off my ink yet, so I'd like to put a little bit more on. Yeah, I really like to make my own little embellishments. I like what is out there, but we don't always have access to everything, and all the funds to buy everything out there. So I like to custom make my own little embellishments, and there's fun. This color will coordinate very well. Often you buy embellishments and they don't just match up exactly the way you want. This way I can get it to work exactly to blend with it. Now, I'm a matchy kind of person, so my reds must blend. The reds must match. They must have the same tones. Okay, so once that's nice and dry around the edges, to add a little bit more ink. Okay, and there where it's serrated, we'll give it a little bit of more ink. Happy with that. Now to add that little spritz and flick. Just leave it for a little while for the water to do what the water does. And then we can blot off the excess. And we look like we have a used tag. Let's give it a bit of a... Okay, we'll leave that one off to the side to dry. And we're going to do the same thing with the other tag, just using faded jeans. So the color I used here was Fired Brick, to match our Fired Brick over there. Let's do the same thing. I like to put on a light layer of ink. We'll then squish some onto the ink, onto the mat, mist with water, and put your tag through. There we go. And give it a dry. This one's come out nice and dark. happy with that. We'll do the same thing. We'll add a little bit more faded jeans here and there. A few water drops. Give it a bit of time to do what it does. And we'll blot off the excess. Let it dry. Now I wouldn't normally sit and make these tags individually for each project. If I'm having a lull in my creativity and I feel I want to do something but I don't know what I want to do, and I've spent an hour on Pinterest looking for inspiration and I still haven't found inspiration, then I will sit and make these. I will cut out a whole lot of, pre-cut a whole lot of cardstock like this in size, stamp, cut and color. Chuck them into a little container, and when I need them for a project, I don't have to get distracted with trying to make, and I can get through the project reasonably quickly. It's always good to have these little things on hand. Okay, so we're just going to go around the edges with some brown. I'm using ground espresso just to go around the edges, just to give a bit of definition. Same with the fired brick. Just grunge it up because it just looks too perfect for the tag. Again, even on the serrated edge, give it that. Okay. Right, so that's going to go there. That's going to go there. And we're going to put a little bit of, just tear off some washi tape. Stick it over here. Just do this as that decorative tape. These are very, very nice. And let's add a little bit of this if I can find the end. Otherwise we're not going to use it. There you go. And pop that in over there. Okay, there we go, your finished tag. Okay, so now we're going to attach the tags to create some interest at the bottom of the tag. We'll just put some glue at the back of the tag and just wait for it to get tacky. Okay. While you are waiting for it to get just a little bit tacky, we can go around the edges with the gel pen. So I'm going to use the white just to give a little bit of definition, and I find it finishes off the project a little bit if you just add some sort of gel pen, either black or white to the ends. Okay, I'll give me enough time for this to, so we'll pop that in over there. That. And then this ticket across like this. Make sure it's nice and straight. Make sure it's glued in very nicely. Then I want to add a little bit more of this decorative tape. I think it'll look good over here. Yeah, just like that. Okay, and then I will also, to make them stand out, go around the little tickets with my gel pen. You don't have to, this is a personal preference. It's entirely up to you, but you won't know until you've given it a try. There we go. So you could add a little sentiment to this, you could add a little metal embellishment. There's a whole lot of little things that you could add to make it more. Now, one of the questions I was asked is, what am I going to do with all these tags once I'm finished with them? What I like to do is I enjoy doing junk journals. I haven't managed to work in a book, you know, repurpose a book. I make my own. So what I do is I work in a photofolio kind of form where I make my own little pages that I play with and things. So basically I've made an acetate pocket, and inside here I've put the tag from the last tutorial, and I'll print out the name, which I called Blend-a-Bility, and I will, on the back of my tag, write down the techniques I followed. And then I've applied what I've learned here. I've applied. So I used one color to blend out the background. I've stamped, I've added a bit of washi tape, a little bit, a tag, and I've featured it like that. And then I've taken it and tried it, the exact same thing we've done today. I've played with it again. So I inked this time only with two colors, fossilized amber and blueprint sketch, and you can see where it overlapped. It gave me that nice green. I've stenciled, stamped, put on my ticket, and here I've said embrace everything you learn and bring it to life, which is what the little butterflies represent. So I will continue to use these inserts as my junk journal pages and play and test out techniques, and it's a nice reference for me. So once I've made enough signatures, they will then go into an album. So until I've got a chance, this is where this will go. And now on the back of this, I'll put down what stamps I used, what colors I used, the die cuts that I used, so that it makes for easy reference if I ever want to repeat this technique and this particular layout on one of my 30 by 30 layouts. So start small, practice. So as we get through this, the different tutorials about distress ink and the things you can do with it, I'll keep adding to my little photofolio junk journal. Okay, ladies, thank you very much, and we'll chat again next week.